Hi, I'm Dick Eydt from Bites by Eydt. We cater to exceptional clientele along the eastern seaboard, from Manhattan to Greenwich to Nantucket, down to Florida, to Boca Raton to Vero Beach, and we're based in the greater Atlanta area. We're going to talk about creating some phenomenal restaurant quality menu items that you can prepare for yourself, your family, and friends. What we're doing today is our fan favorites. Our favorite bites, our best bites that we do. And so today we're going to start off with an Elvis sandwich, which is a grilled hearty rye bread with extra thick bacon, peanut butter, and banana. And then we're going to go with a baguette, a vegetable baguette with olives, tomatoes, a little bit of goat cheese, and just a slight hint of garlic. And that's a phenomenal appetizer. So let's begin. So first we're going to start with this hearty rye. You can get any kind of bread you want, but having a good rye really helps to make a good sandwich. And I have a client of mine that she was doing a 50th birthday party for her husband. And she said, Dick, you know, my husband is born on Elvis's birthday. And I go, wow, that's pretty cool. Actually, one of our cameramen was also born on Elvis's birthday. I said, so? She goes, well, can you make an Elvis sandwich? And I never knew what an Elvis sandwich was. And she goes, well, it's a rye bread with honey, banana, and bacon. And I'm going, wow, okay, sure. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it turned out to be a phenomenal appetizer and something that they loved. So let's get started. First we'll take the rye bread, the hearty rye, and cut it. You can hear that crunch. I won't use the end piece, but I will cut this into about, not quite an inch thick, but probably 3/4 of an inch. So it has some heft to it and substance. And we'll cut 2 pieces off. Okay, I really want the pieces to be about the same size, so I'll use them from the middle of the bread. And there we go. I think that's pretty good. So when we put them together, they can fit on top of each other and fit nicely and make a nice sandwich. And we'll probably cut this sandwich after it's grilled into at least 4 different pieces. Okay, put this to the side. We're going to take some butter, put this and spread it, sort of like how we've been doing throughout the other shows with the olive oil. You really want to put a nice coating on this so it won't burn. Who doesn't like butter with bread? And so when we grill it, they'll have a nice coloring to it, and we can get everything nice and warm. I put a little bit of olive oil in there, just to help with the butter. And if you wanted to put a press on it, you could. I don't. I just leave it and I'll flip it over. This is the type of item when I do it as a hors d'oeuvre, I just make them in batches. So when I do my parties, I'll do several heavy hors d'oeuvres. And what I'll do is I'll do my flatbreads, I'll do something like this, I'll do some salmon, and I just vary the hors d'oeuvres and then cook them, bring them out, cut them, plate it, and send it out. And I just vary it. So I don't make these in batches. I don't make them ahead of time. I make it to order. So when they come out for our guests and our clients, that they're hot and they're very tasty. So that's one of our advantages of bringing all the food in and preparing it at our clients' homes, and so they get it so it's fresh. What I find in Atlanta and a lot of caterers is that they will make the food in their central commissary, put it in those aluminum trays in the morning, and then they ship it off and then they reheat it. So it's sort of like having to-go food, which is fine, but it's not like having the food prepared, coming out of the oven, cutting it up, serving it hot and fresh and tasty. it just makes a big difference. And I guess that's why, one of the reasons why I always get 5 stars. I get rave reviews. Many a time I'll get, I did a party on Saturday before I came here to New York. It was a Bible group in Atlanta, and there's about 25 people. And at the end, they gave us a standing ovation for myself and my bartender and my servers. You know, making it at the client's house really makes a big difference. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the skillet, cast iron skillet, and then I will assemble the ingredients, and we'll have all the ingredients ready to go. Whenever I do this, I always do my mise en place. I always have everything all prepped and ready to go, so it's simple. Whenever we do our parties, we always get there about 3 hours in advance so that there's no rush in case our clients need help moving tables or chairs or whatever it is. We have plenty of time, and we're never rushed, they're never rushed, and they all feel very good about the party. So take this, slice it again, and this will about cover the sandwich. Okay, so now we have everything ready to go, and let's make the Elvis sandwich. Okay, so we have the cast iron skillet. I'm going to add a little bit more butter to it, and you can never have too much butter. Nice little sizzle. It's important not to have the skillet too hot because I don't want the bread to burn, but I do want it to get a nice brown coloring. So I turn the heat down to low. I'm going to assemble, put down the first piece of the rye bread, and then I'll start making my stack. I'll put the peanut butter on top, then I'll put the bacon on top, and then the banana. You can do it either way. If you wanted to add some salt and pepper to it, you could do that. It's fine, it gives it a little bit more flavor. I'm putting the big piece down first, put it in the middle, and then I start assembling with the peanut butter. You know, Elvis was onto something when he came up with this sandwich. It's quite tasty. But you need to have a good bread, a good rye bread, a hearty bread, and you need to have it cut thickly. It can't be a thin piece because you really want to give a nice crunch to it. This extra thick bacon is also important to have. I cook this on parchment paper for about 25-35 minutes at about 400 degrees. The parchment paper helps because the bacon fat stays within the bacon, and you know, bacon fat is what gives it the great flavor. So you can't go chintzy on the bacon. This is probably a good 4 or 5 strips of bacon on there, and now comes the good stuff. This is really what makes it, is the banana. So I'll put the banana on. I'll put this on sideways, so when we cut into it, it will stay with it and it won't smush all over the sandwich. So I could put another slice in the middle, and there we go. Now we're going to put on the last piece and top it. Push it down a little bit, and I'll probably do a little bit of a peekaboo and take a look and see how it's coming along. Again, I have it on low heat, and I'll just take a look at that. So it's starting to get there. Again, what I was afraid of is that you don't want it to burn. I'll move the temperature up a little bit, and so we get a nice brown caramelization with the butter, and then I'll flip it over. Once you get that nice crust, the caramelization, the brown butter on the bread. If you wanted to, you could take this and put it into the oven, and then you're getting heat from all the way around. So we'll take a look and see how that goes. We can always put it back in the oven and finish it off. You can already see that the peanut butter has started to melt in there, and that's a nice thing. Also, by putting it in the oven, it will heat up the bacon that much more. I can feel that the crust is starting to form. You can see the nice coloration there, and it's cooking nicely on the edges, which is what we want. So another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll flip it over. Now, flipping it over is going to be a little tricky. So I can either use 2 spatulas. I can use a pair of tongs and scoop it and flip it. So we'll see how it goes. If for some reason it sort of falls apart, not a problem. Just put the bottom on and reassemble it, and you're good to go. Because we're going to be taking this out. We're going to be putting it back on the cutting board. We're going to cut it, and we'll assemble it. And the key is that it's warm and it's crunchy, and all the flavors will meld together. Okay, that's been about 30 seconds, so let's give another little peeky-boo. I can feel it when I come in there that it's hard. I'm going to take it and flip it over, and there you go. Nice coloring, right? It's not burned. It has a nice brown to it. I think having all that butter on the bread, and also all the butter and the oil in the pan, creates for a nice sandwich. We did this for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, so this time we don't have to do as many checks on it. So I'd probably say we'll wait 3 minutes and then we'll take a look at it. So we grilled this for 5, 6, 7 minutes. I didn't put it in the oven. I don't think it really had to, because you can see all of the peanut butter melting and oozing over the banana and the bacon, and the crust has a nice crunchiness to it. Elvis was onto something. So the tricky part is cutting it. It is going to ooze some more, but it is what it is. I always use a serrated knife whenever I'm cutting into bread. If you used a flat knife, it's just going to get even messier. So I'm going to use this and saw it like I would. I'm going to cut it right down the middle first, in half, and that wasn't too bad, right? But you can hear that crunch, which is what you want. It's warm, it's out of the oven. I'll put this bacon back in the sandwich. I'll cut it first, and then after I cut the sandwich, I'll put the bacon back in and assemble it. So here we go. I go nice and slow. I don't put much pressure on the knife, on the bread. I don't want to squish the bread. And there you go. You can see that nice coloring on the top and the bottom. The peanut butter has oozed into the bread and all over. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit and stick in another piece of bacon. I'll take a toothpick and secure it, because these do have a tendency to fall apart, and put it on the plate. There you go. Plate this. That's on the back side, so you can see the back. Now in this piece here, I could cut it into 3 pieces if you want, but I think what's really nice about this bread is that you get the crust, and I think you really want to have the crust in each of the bites. So I'll do it 2 ways, but I think that doing it with the crust in each of the pieces is really the way to go. Lift this bad boy up, put another piece of bacon in there, secure it. Okay, and we'll plate these last 2 pieces. Put that there, and then put this one on there. The last variation that we can do on this is we could take a little bit of honey, okay? And I wouldn't so much put it on top of the bread, but what I would do is put it in between. So if someone wants to get a little extra zing to it, a little extra honey, they can just dip it. So I'll take this and just pour it in between and drizzle, go all the way around, and there you go. Elvis sandwich. He was spot on with this one. It is really good. It sounds strange, but it is one of our fan favorites. Easy to make, you gotta try it. Enjoy. Okay, we're gonna do another vegetarian appetizer. It's a grilled baguette, which we've done before, but with diced tomatoes, black olives, goat cheese. We will rub the baguettes that have been grilled with extra virgin olive oil, sea salt, and pepper with a little bit of garlic. And it makes for a very nice vegetarian appetizer. Good flavor, good taste. Okay, so we'll start with the baguette. We'll get this ready to go. We're gonna cut it like we always do, right down the middle. Then we're gonna brush it with extra virgin olive oil, sea salt and pepper, and put it on the grill. Get this nice and saturated, and then we'll do the other side. We'll flip it over, press it down, distribute all of the extra virgin olive oil from our sponsor, Calavito Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Let's take a look at that. And we need a little bit here and there. You know, when in doubt, you really can't go wrong with putting extra oil on there so we don't get the burnt edges. If you get the burnt edges, not a problem, just have to cut it off. But it's best if you don't do that. Helicopter with the sea salt, that's good. And then helicopter with the black pepper. I like using black pepper. Some chefs like using white pepper. It gives a nice contrast of visually. It looks great and it tastes great. Okay, so we'll put this on the grill and grill that off. Okay, so we have the baguettes grilled nicely. Great aroma, great flavor, nice coloring on it. We're going to take the tomatoes and dice those up. They can either be diced or they can be sliced. It really doesn't really matter. I prefer having it sliced as opposed to a dice. It stays on the bread better and longer. It doesn't move over. When you look at these baguettes, they're sort of flat. The top part can be a little bit curved to it. So that's why I pressed it down onto it so I can make it as level as possible. I'll take out the stem here and then I'll slice them. Always start in the top at 12 o'clock and just work your way down to 3 o'clock. So if the knife were to slip, it won't cut your fingers, your hands. I always like to cut out all the green because they are going to sort of see it. And again, when we cut this, you want a nice, somewhat thick piece, maybe a ½ inch. I wouldn't go 3/4 of an inch, but at least a ½ inch so they can really taste it when they bite into it and get some good flavor. Again, these are the vine ripened tomatoes. And I'll do one more. And there we go for the tomatoes. Those guys are ready to go. Then we're gonna put a little bit of garlic on there. We'll just rub it on. The bread is still warm. So smash it down. Open it up. I'll take out the pith again. Because especially with this, it's not being cooked, it's raw. So you definitely want to take out right there. You can see where it attaches to the stem. And take that out. I'll cut this and I can take it and rub it. And it'll just impart a little bit of flavor to it. I won't leave the garlic on there, but the oil is warm. It will get some of the flavor of the garlic onto the bread. I can already smell it. It smells great. And because it's such a big piece in my hand, it's easy to work with. You know, if your client is, garlic is good for you. If your client wants the garlic on there, go ahead. I just wouldn't do it. Okay, the goat cheese we're going to take and just sort of spread it on there. So just take a piece off like you would putting butter on there, and we'll just take it and spread it out. Again, you can ask your client how much goat cheese is on there. I want it so there's enough goat cheese flavoring on the baguette to mix with the tomato. We serve this during cocktail hour A lot of times they'll have red wine. Goat cheese and red wine are a super combination. So I'll put one more piece over here, and then let's not forget the edge over here. A little bit more, and a little bit more. So it's covered pretty well. There's ample goat cheese to it. Okay, so now we're going to go to the black olives. These are pitted black olives. I find them easy to use. If you wanted to use whole olives, you could. Sometimes my clients want a particular type of olive that have the pits in there. That's fine. You can just take the pits out and put it in there. I'm going to chop these up a little bit and put it on. It's great color, it's great flavor. Olives are good for you, so why not put them on there? So now we're going to sprinkle these on there. We're going to press them down so it stays on, it doesn't fall off. See how attractive that looks? There we go. And one more. Okay? So it's a nice little base there. It's attractive. Now we're going to take the tomatoes, put the tomatoes on, and when we cut it, we're going to cut it along the tomatoes, and then we'll cut it again. So we'll get this last piece here. Let's see. I'll just take a half of one and put it on the end. Now I take it and press it down again so it doesn't move anywhere, and now everything is stuck together and we are ready to cut. So again, when I cut it, I'm going to use a serrated knife. I will go in between the tomatoes and just take it nice and slow and a little bit of a sawing motion, and so we don't disturb the integrity of this vegetarian hors d'oeuvre. Okay, we'll do one more. There we go. Okay, so now we have this. So the skin, you can see the meat of the tomato is on either side. So what I'll do is I'll cut it right down there, so I'll keep that the meat and the seeds of the tomato intact. Take it and slice it, put it on there. The last step that we're going to do on this is we are going to add some more sea salt and pepper, and then we'll sprinkle a little balsamic glaze on there. So it will have super flavor. You know what? I think I'll add a toothpick because this side's a little wobbly. This one's already fallen off. We'll add another toothpick to this. And there we go. I'll come around with a little sea salt, use the helicopter, sprinkle it on top just a little bit, and a helicopter with the black pepper. So you see the black pepper on top of the tomatoes and then also around. The last part we'll do is take a little aged balsamic, a balsamic glaze, and we will sprinkle this from high above. We'll get on top, and then we'll also get onto the plate in case they want to get some extra dipping into it. Then they can take it and they can dip it in. So here we have our Elvis sandwich, which will blow you away. You won't believe how good it is. Bacon, banana. If you want the honey in there, you can. The peanut butter, it's the combination of it is just incredible. And a great rye bread that's crunchy. And then a nice vegetarian appetizer with the grilled baguettes, the goat cheese, the tomato, the balsamic glaze. It's good. Enjoy. So again, I want to thank our sponsors, Rugged Road Outdoors. That's how we transport all of our food. Ziploc bags. We put the Ziplocs, the food in the Ziplocs, put it in there. It keeps it secure. It doesn't spill. Our Colavito extra virgin olive oil, and our baking steel. That's how we make everything crunchy and very tasty. So thanks again. Hope you enjoy.